Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, it's so good to be back at home in my own studio. I know where my mic is, I know where the camera is, I know where the settings are. This is awesome. And today we also have an awesome topic to talk about, expanding your Amazon business into independent retails. For those of you who have never thought about it, think about it. This could be a great way to expand your business, expand your revenue. So our guest today started selling back in about 2001 into retailers and jumped onto Amazon around 2005. His products have been seen or sold not only on TV, but have been seen in magazines and include the Good Morning America, Today Show, Fox News, Forbes, and many more. So in a moment, we're going to welcome Steven Selikoff. But before I get to that, I just wanted to thank our sponsor, Global Wired Advisors, a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. And for more information, please visit globalwiredadvisors.com. Kelsey, where are you?
Hello. It's good to be back, nice and settled.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little less nerve-wracking now that we don't have to worry about
Oh
Wi-Fi.
my God.
And
Well, unless my Wi-Fi, you know how my Wi-Fi, sometimes you have to take over the podcast because of that, right?
yeah,
But, it is nerve-wracking. And I got to figure out why the mics that I purchased for remote never worked on some occasions. But that's up to me. It's not to the listeners.
Is it the
All right.
mic or the?
Don't
No,
even get
I'll
me
just-
started. I'll virtual slap you. I'll just
Yeah.
virtually slap you.
Mhm.
I'll turn off your mic and then nobody needs to hear you. Okay, so what are you going to talk about? Or did you
All
forget?
right, so first I want to welcome Jessica Rabbit, aka Rosalind. She loves Steven's book, and we've got actually a free download today for Steven's book, which is very exciting. So we're going to be sharing that. But we also have two awesome giveaways as well. So this book is going to be offered to everyone, but we have two giveaways today. And if you are looking for a place of community, a place to meet the other Beard Nation, a place to ask your questions, join our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. That is where the action happens. Go over there, ask your questions, get to meet the community. It's an awesome place. Also, if you're looking for bonus content, if you're looking to improve your business and looking for some extra help, we do have our Patreon program that is our free member or our paid membership, and that's available on the lunchwithnorm.com website. So just go over there, press paid membership, and that'll take you to our Patreon. So you can have hot seats, Q&As with Norm, some guest lessons, a whole bunch of other fun stuff. But also want to welcome Simon, Andrew, we got Rad, Andrew Craig, Tony, Nathan, Steve, and I think that's it. So thank you, everyone. Oh, you're on mute.
Don't make up names, Kels. Okay, I do have a new coffee mug though. I thought this was good. This was from Hayden. Who needs a boyfriend when you have Lunch with Norm? I thought it was good.
Nice.
I thought it was funny. So I had it delivered to
cute.
Vegas with me. But anyway, okay. So the other thing I just wanted to talk about very quickly, we never really talk about it too much, but if you're interested and you want even more content, check out Private Label Legion over on it's a separate Facebook group. It's a large Facebook group, and Tim Jordan and I also promote content over there. But all right, so let's get started today. So if you do have any questions, throw it over into the comment section. And if you know anybody who would be interested in learning more about retail, ping them, get them onto the podcast. We really think that this is going to be a great show. And last time Steven was on, he was dropping all.
All right. Is
So
Norm
it's
frozen for
a better word than nugget. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let's start this episode. There he is. How are you?
Hello, Norm. It
How's it
was
going?
fabulous to see you in person down in Vegas, to see Tim, to see so many people. I loved it. It felt like it was like everyone was blooming. It was like winter was over and the flowers are coming out. It was great to see you.
Yeah, and soon enough, we're going to have to lasso some of the Beard Nation. Andrew and Tony, why the heck didn't you go? Nathan, Rad, Manny, come on. Next event, I want to see you guys there if you can. Make it there if possible. I mean, we got to meet a lot of people. And, not only that, oops, I don't know what just happened, but it just sounded like the mic's, something just hit.
Can you hear me?
I can. Okay, I'm not sure what just happened, and I'm not sure if it was just me. That sometimes that happens. I hear things, but anyways, there's a lot of things that happen at these events. I talked about it with Tim the other day on Amazon Live, and just breaking bread with people goes a long way. Just being able to talk to people, not about business, but about family, about having fun, laughing, and you know what? Business comes from it. Either, maybe they hear about my services or I hear about what they do, but it's just a natural way for people to get to know people, get to work with people that they like while they're breaking bread. And it's just such a great feeling. I don't know what your take is on that, Stephen.
I think you just said the magic word right there. It's natural. It's more natural for people to be together. This is, what we have to do. And certainly, for podcasts, it allows you to open up to the world, but it shouldn't be the only way of people communicating. And I'll be honest, the moment I was coming through the airport and came down that escalator and I just saw people walking around and enjoying themselves, it was just like, wow, I missed it. And of course, the events in Prosper were fabulous.
No, absolutely. And I'm looking at a few people here that I got to meet over there. Andrew Craig just posted a question, and Roz, Jessica Rabbit, got to meet her. And just meeting people and talking. And we're going down a different rabbit hole here, but I don't care. It's really important. And I don't know what's going to happen now. The U.S., as I got back, just shut down the border completely for Canadians. Completely. I can't go back to a U.S. I don't know when the next time I can go. I was hoping to go to an event in August. That looks like that's going to be pooched. I don't know what's going to happen for us Canadians. So any Canadians on here, if you do hear any information over the next few weeks, please let me know, and so I can pass it on to our listeners. All right. So, Stephen, let's talk about retail. Let's talk about, you dropped some really great information the last time you were on the podcast, but something we never touched on was independent retailers. So give us an idea, how much extra revenue is generated through independent retailers? What can people expect? Is there an average? Is there a ballpark?
Yes. So let me give you some numbers and some of my own experiences with my own products. After COVID and most of the mask mandates were done and everything else, as of January, first quarter this year, U.S. Department of Commerce has e-commerce as a whole, which envelops Amazon, at 13.7 or 13.6% of retail. So the other rest of it, 87%, are in-store retailers. And of that, the majority of volume comes through big box stores. The majority of physical rooftops of stores is independent retailers. And we could do a whole episode on big box stores, and we should. And I've got a good friend, Tim Bush, we should bring in to do that. But for independent retailers, hey, Richard, for independent retailers, it's actually easier to get into and sell than on Amazon, which always surprises people. The numbers are huge. I did the shows in Atlanta I had someone else doing them for me in Las Vegas. I did them in Los Angeles, did them in Seattle, had someone doing them for me in Minneapolis. Literally over $100,000 in orders written over 4 days consistently. But you have to know what you're doing at these shows. These are shows specifically for selling to independent retailers. And it's something we should be talking a bit about because there are some coming up. But it's the big secret that people in the industry know and people who are not in the industry have never heard of. They have no concept of. But if you walk into any successful independent store, independent pet store, independent gift store, independent florist, independent arts and crafts store, and you ask them, where are you getting the products that you put on your shelves? Most of them will tell you they get it at the Atlanta shows if they're on the east side of the Mississippi, or the Las Vegas show if they're on the west side of the Mississippi. And then some also go to the Dallas show. So why do I mention the Dallas show? This is such an integral part of selling to retailers. Selling to retailers are so focused on these shows that November 22nd, 1963, everyone in the US knows that's when JFK was assassinated. Most people don't realize what he was doing in that motorcade. He was actually going to the Dallas shows. He was going to give a what they call a chair, an honorary announcement or something. But it's such an integral part of selling to retail, and yet it's so unknown. It's incredibly. It's like the big secret that everyone knows but nobody talks about. So
Stephen,
it's amazing.
Like I know with all sorts of other industries, there's trade shows and there's expos and there's associations. Is there a place where people can go to find out where these shows are or where they're being held?
Good question. There are some major ones, and I should help put together a list and let you post it for your
I'd
folks.
love to.
The major ones, the major trade shows for pets are Super Zoo and Global Pet Expo. For housewares, home goods is the International Home and Houseware Show, which I believe is now renamed the Inspired Home Show. There's of course the New York Toy Store, a toy show for toys, but all of those are temporaries. They put up in convention centers and so on. But there's also year-long in Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Dallas, as I mentioned, World Marts, exhibitions. So there is 4 city blocks in Atlanta that are just giant buildings that are filled with showrooms showing stuff to sell to retailers. In Las Vegas, there's an entire complex set up probably 3-4 miles off the strip, if that much. That's set up all year round. Now, they're for retailers to go to. You have to register as a retailer, go in there, set up appointments, and you get to see all sorts of merchandise that you can put into your stores, and it's set up beautifully. But twice a year in each one of these locations, in Dallas, it's off of Industrial, I believe. In each of these locations, they actually have a big exhibition. And what they do is they make themselves prettier, they fancy things up, but they bring all their salespeople in, the manufacturers come in, and it's huge. Those are the times and places where most sales are made for the year, including in January, people are buying for Christmas. So it's that big. Those are the big exhibits. Physically, because they are so large, you're finding about 60% is home decor furniture. The rest is everything from products for boutiques, gift shows, gift stores, home decor. I'm trying to think of all the different types of stores things you can get and do, but basically everything that's CPG, consumer packaged goods, that we would be thinking about and walking into any store in any town, anywhere, Canada or US.
Yeah, and if you're in a niche and you are looking for a specific trade show or group of trade shows, you can always go to Google type in your niche trade show and
Oh, absolutely.
see what pops up. The other thing that I think is very important, a lot of people overlook, are trade associations. So you might be in the pet niche, and I don't know the trade association for whatever, but for pets, let's say. But if you join that, usually you get some really great information. Also with compliance and all of that, like for me with soap, for example, I can tap into an association and get the groups, let's try this again, and get the information about labeling in Canada versus labeling in the US. There's so much trade associations can help you with, and I highly recommend that you take a look at that as well. Now, what about independent retailers? I know that you can go on, you can type into Google and you can have a list of independent retailers that you can try to target, and it can be segmented, but a lot of them are just junk lists that you're wasting your money on.
Absolutely, 100%. So, quick side note, in answer to, you mentioned pet. So in America, it's the APPA, American Pet Products Association.
There we go.
They put on a show in Orlando called Global Pet Expo, and that really drives what the attention of pet products for the year. And second to that is Super Zoo, and they both run pretty close. But yeah, APPA has incredible information. They put out a book that's about this thick. So if you want to find out what are the demographics of people who use light up collars over those who do not use light up collars for their dogs, it's probably in there. It is so much detailed information that you would just be blown away. And as someone, when you develop your products, when you're looking for niches and so on, if you belong to APPA, you get all of this information. It gives you so much ammunition. And the same thing for other organizations, as you said. I mean, that's a great opportunity. So how do you find out which are the active
The quality.
independent retailers and the quality and so on? Here's a bit of a trick, and it comes back exactly to the shows I was just talking about. The ones that are doing well, the ones that are looking to put more things on their shelves and so on, they are the ones that are attending these shows. So if you are there, if you're exhibiting at the show, you then get access to all of the retailers who are attending the show. So you now have the ability to contact them, even if they don't walk past your showroom, if you're there in a permanent showroom, or if they don't walk past your exhibit, if you're there as a temp, you still have the ability to follow up with them. And that is always the most accurate list of active retailers who are looking to sell and put things on their shelves, right there, hands down. If you're doing pets, I'm going to harp on that one for a moment, because my first $1 million plus selling product came out of APPA and Global. Mm-hmm. You also have a list of all of those attendees. Or if you go to Foods West, you have a list of all those stores that sell kitchen stuff and gourmet foods and so on. So these trade shows and expositions work really, really well, because they do more than just give you an opportunity to present in front of retailers. You also have the ability to follow up with those lists and so on.
So one of the tricks that I do, this is just attending a trade show. I don't take anything. I don't if Tim's with a trade show, walking through the trade show with me, he'll have a backpack. I'll stuff his backpack. But but no.
So the answer is always to take Tim with you.
Exactly. I take Tim. Yep. But normally what I'll do is I have an app called Hi Hello, and it creates a business card, and I just have people scan me. And what's really weird when you go to these trade shows is that probably 90% of the people who scan you will never follow up. But the people that do are hungry for business. So if you go to this trade show and you are attending the trade show, either in a booth or just walking the show, make sure you follow up with the person, because probably 90% of the other vendors have not. I don't know if you found that to be.
That is right there. If we could sum everything up in one sentence, you just said it there, Norm. When you're at, and let me take broaden this for a little bit. I'm doing a program next month in Las Vegas, teaching people how to sell to retailers. It's actually at the same time as two of the biggest shows going on. When you are selling to retailers through these shows, you need to follow up. If someone has approached you, if you've talked to someone, you need to follow up, and relatively soon, usually within 7 days of meeting them. So many people fail in that. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You've been given a gift. Not only is someone aware of you, but they've seen your product, they've touched it, they've spent enough time there to drop off a business card or get scanned with the scanning software. These are folks who have interest. You can have a conversation with them. And if you just drop the ball and don't follow up, you've given up your chance at that conversation.
Right. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, we do have a couple of giveaways today. So, Stephen, why don't you tell people about the giveaway?
Sure. So we've got two giveaways going on. One is for absolutely everyone today, Friday. You can download my book from Amazon. Just look up my name, Stephen Selikoff. It's the complete book of product design, development, manufacturing, and sales. And you can download the Kindle version of that for free, zero today. Plus, we'll be doing a giveaway with a free hour of coaching.
All right.
Let's do that.
So that's fantastic. Your book, by the way, I know Roz, who's probably going to mention something on here. She mentioned to me in Miami, your name came up, and she just said, "Oh my God, this is the best book out there." And she loved it. She was ranting and raving about it. And anyways, that was just through normal conversation. So I think Roz is on this, Jessica Rabbit that's here. So download it. It's a very well-written, detailed book about everything that he just mentioned. Other thing...
Let me touch on that one quick second. I'm very honored to say now that a major University of Nevada, Reno, has used my book, and the process is in there, and now it's an upper-level business course for business majors. And it went through all sorts of review because it's an accredited and respected university, and they all came back, and very, very honored. My mother, if she was alive, would be very, very proud. I'm proud that the processes I built out are now being taught. And now there's a second university looking to do the same thing.
Well, that's great. And also Tony Sagar said, Steve, your book's also available on Audible. Yes. However, it's free today. We got a special, I don't know, Stephen set it up where any of the listeners, if you're going to Amazon today, will get it for free on Kindle. So we do have another giveaway. I'll just get to it quickly. A lot of people have been asking about our Centurion League. And today we're going to give away 1 month free for the Centurion League. You're not going to be pressured to stay in it. You're just going to see how it is, the amount of information. I know that there's 8 lessons a month on there. Plus you'll be able to join our Facebook group. And I don't even know what the heck, hashtag something. What is it, Kels?
Hashtag community. So just comment hashtag community if you're interested to win Norm's paid membership group, the Centurion League. Also, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey if you're interested in a consult with Stephen. And I'll put the links to the book. I put them, I think, everywhere already. So just click on that link. It should show up as $0, so you can just buy it completely free.
All right. So now we got that out of the way. We can get back to independent retailers. What are some of the upsides of using an independent retailer?
Number one, retailers purchase differently than they do on Amazon. The thing that scares a lot of people is that they keystone. So if you see something on the shelf for $30, they want to purchase it for $15. That's pretty standard. When I got into Amazon, that would like, wow, what a big difference in Amazon. But now it's back in 2005. These days with Amazon fees, you'll find that it's basically comes out the same. So that should not frighten you. The second thing is that they don't buy a single unit. So you talk about baby blankets. Let's say on Amazon, you're selling baby blankets and you've got one in pink and blue and yellow. A customer comes along and buys a pink one. That's great. But retailers will buy a case pack, which means you've got 6 or 8 in a case pack, and they'll buy a case pack of pink, a case pack of blue, and a case pack of yellow. They don't know who's coming into that store next. So they're paying for 24 units, whereas a regular customer pays for 1. And then they'll reorder, and it really becomes a reorder game. Hopefully the person who's buying a baby blanket is not having, more babies, 5, 6, 7 times a year, but the retailer is. So it becomes a game of getting orders again and again and again. And there's lots of ways of encouraging that. And then in addition, they pay for shipping. So that's a really nice plus that you don't get from Amazon.
So when you're negotiating with these retailers, is there a best practice to work to help you with the negotiating strategies? Because everybody's different.
It actually, see if I can find one here. I don't see one in front of me. You have your prices set. So it's not a case of having them negotiate a price with you. In fact, if someone starts negotiating a price with you, that's pretty much of a sign that they're not used to buying from manufacturers, and you're technically the manufacturer, or they think they can take advantage of you. So just set out straight out. Nope, this is my price. It retails for $30. I'm selling it for $15. Now, saying that, certainly big box stores look for a different type of a margin or a markup. So they may be looking in some cases at 40%, other cases and 60%, but that's pretty much standard. And there's not negotiation anymore, not the way it was years ago with big box stores either. But you are the manufacturer. So you set your price. You don't have to worry about that at all. And then you can turn around and use other little tricks for enticing them to purchase more. There we go. See, just saw a thing from you. You won't be able. You have all sorts of tricks to be able to entice them to purchase more. So, for example, someone comes to you, a retailer, and says, "Well, we're really interested, but we're just starting out." You can have an introductory package where instead of having 6 blankets, 6 blankets, 6 blankets, you might say buy 30 blankets for an introductory package, and it costs a little bit less. Or you could say, we've come out with a new white and purple designed blanket, and we're going to have a slight discount on this, and so on. But once you have that base level set, and it can even be printed in your catalog, it makes all the negotiation a lot simpler.
So when you're working with Walmart or with Target, we're not talking about that right now, and their payment terms are way different. But what kind of payment terms can you expect working with independents?
So there's a great one. Of course, there's a lot of positives of working with Walmart and Target. They're going to set up a purchase order so that you're it could be 4 or 5 months out before you actually have to supply the product. You can produce it and so on. You can finance off that purchase order, so you don't have to worry about paying for $1.5 million worth of inventory. On the other hand, for independents, they're interested in a product. They're going to say, okay, we want this, and here's my credit card. It's simple. They pay for it right there, right up front. Very few exceptions. In the U.S., most 501(c)(3), whatever it is for charities, so like hospitals, gift shops, and so on, they have to go through a purchase order because of the tax purposes. But for the vast majority, let me buy it. Here is my credit card. And you can wait for that credit card to clear before you send out the product. So let's go back to the baby blankets. So they purchase one case pack of each. Now we're looking at 24. Let's say that they're paying $10 each to keep the math easy. So now they're looking at $240. And then you can just go to your UPS chart and say, okay, I'm in Seattle. They're in Ohio. It's going to cost another $32. You add it on. So now it's $272. They pay for that up front. And it's so simple. And by the way, you hear what I didn't mention? I didn't mention fake reviews. I didn't mention suspensions that you wake up to or any of the rest of that. It's easy.
And a lot of independents want unique products. So, you know, they like for me with soap, they don't want the Zests and the Doves. They want small artisan soaps, you know. Now I got another question. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if you have the numbers. How many independents are there?
I think you can Google it. There's something like 167 million or something like that.
What?
And it's been a while since I actually Googled that. Maybe it's 167. I can Google it right now. We can find out, but I'm going to focus on you.
Going live.
Maybe someone in the Beard Nation can Google it and let us know. We'll have the numbers.
I know Tony Sager is already doing it. So Tony, just let us know. All right, buddy. Okay. One of the other things I think is very important, and I know this happened with Chewy with us, is that to meet compliance, we had to have insurance. So right now, there's a lot of Amazon sellers that still haven't listened, and they'll get their notice one of these days, but you need to have insurance. What type of insurance do you need or would be expected to meet compliance with these independents?
So independents like Amazon are going to expect you to have insurance, but they're not going to specifically say, show me your COI, so your co-insured certificate, but they expect you to have it.
Yeah.
Standard business liability should be enough in the United States. That should be, frankly, a 1-2 policy, which is a 1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate. Once you do get into larger stores, big box stores, chains, distributors like Chewy, they may ask for a 2-4, which is 2 million per occurrence and 4 million aggregate. Depending on your product, that should probably cost you around $14 to $18, maybe $2,000 a year. Now, if you're doing something with CBD, it's going to be more. If you're doing something with a medical device, if you're doing something that
ingestibles,
ingestibles, exactly, it'll be more. But they have all sorts of charts that they figure that out by. I just saw some video of the typhoon in Shanghai from last week, and there are containers being blown right off of stacks. I mean, it's a crazy video. When you have that business liability insurance, you can include transportation on it, and now you're covered. So just regardless if you're selling at Amazon or retailers, go out there and get yourself, treat yourself like a business. You're going to be happy when the unexpected happens.
Right. And there's a lady that I shouldn't even have said that. There is a person that listens to this podcast on a regular basis, and she just went through absolute hell with a container. And luckily, she contacted me and she said, oh, I got cargo insurance. It's the thing that saved her. She would have been paying through the nose, or she would have lost a lot of money. Let's put it that way. Okay, so insurance is important. I think anybody selling any product should have some sort of insurance. Other than that, if you don't have it, you're playing Russian roulette. But let's talk about some myths out there.
Oh my goodness, there are so.
There's a few.
I have seen comments in Facebook groups that I don't want to sell to retailers because I have to go out there and stock the shelves once a week or something like that. No, you don't have to do that. You can send it to them. They will not only will they stock it, they'll merchandise it. They will make it look as attractive as possible. I've had people get concerned because they don't have the ability to do keywords or other things. In fact, launching a new product is easier with retail, particularly independents, specialty stores and so on, but even big box stores. The moment you walk into a big box store, You grab that shopping cart, you go through. Doesn't matter whether your list is written down or in your head, you have now predisposed yourself to putting stuff in that shopping cart that you did not expect to buy. So when you walk up and down the aisles, and they're scientifically figured out for the width and the lighting and the music, you'll see something. If that package gets your attention and says, this is something that does A, B, C, and it does it better than, you see it, you look at it, you've never seen it before, it goes into your cart. In an independent retailer, you don't have a cart. It's a different experience. People walk up and down every single aisle. They're looking for something they haven't seen before. That's why they're there for. Like you said, they see your soaps, and it's like, wow, I don't see this at the big stores. This is something exciting and different. They discover it. It's a treasure hunt. And then they get excited. They tell their friends about it. Look at this. Look what I got. They actually feel like it's a success if they find something they've never seen before. And if they don't, it's like, oh, I've seen these in all these other stores. When you're launching a new product, you think about how difficult it is on Amazon, where it's basically a search engine. And then you compare it to this treasure hunt where people are searching for something they can see in front of them that they don't know what they want yet. You can see that it really becomes a great experience. So that myth of you need to be able to have something that has keywords is turned around on its head when you start getting into independent retailers. And then, this is the greatest thing, once people start buying it in those retailers, now they're searching for it. So it really goes hand in hand with Amazon. And that's a great opportunity. We were talking before the show. I have one of my students launched in June. She was targeting to get to $30,000 a month by September. This is the last day of July. She's already hit that. Plus, last 2 nights ago, she was talking. She hit 40,000 for a product that launched in June, and she hasn't launched her Amazon site yet, her Amazon listing yet. It's just through retailers and her own site and so on, because she's got that launch process for something that's new. So it is exciting and it's amazing and it's so much fun and it's perfect. It's a perfect match for people who can sell on Amazon and they're looking to expand. Absolutely, you've got to be thinking about in-store retailers.
All right, so we're talking about Amazon and the independent retailers. How much difference is there between that and then going over to the big box stores?
So the big difference is from the Amazon to the in-store retailer. That's the first big difference. And that difference is your listing. Now, we're talking in-store retailers. We're talking about on the shelves of the store. We're not talking about Walmart.com. We're talking about Walmart. We're not talking about,
right.
Joe's Specialty Shoes, for your shoe scratchers.
Costco.
We're talking Costco. But the big difference is that you don't have a listing when you're selling at a retailer. You have packaging, and that packaging has got to be good. Just like you don't want to have your listing done by an amateur, you don't want to have your packaging done by an amateur. That's what gets the customer's attention with shelf impact. That's what tells the customers why they want to buy it, by talking about your benefits and so on. So that packaging is that right away is the largest, most noticeable difference between selling online and selling in store. Now, between the independents and the big box stores, the independents have a decision maker either in the store or at home if they have 5, 6, 10 stores. The big box store has a corporate buyer. They're off-site in an office someplace, and they're responsible for 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 stores. Because the number of stores are larger, and because the risk obviously is larger, they take a longer time. They actually go through a process of evaluating the product, making sure that it's something that their customers want to buy, and then they'll actually go through a test to make sure what are the percentages of their customers, the foot traffic that actually wants to buy your product, and they use that to determine how much they're going to purchase and put out there. They'll give you a purchase order. It's very slow moving. They'll be doing, reviews now for stuff that's coming out in 2022, and in a few months they're going to be doing reviews for 2023. Independent retailers, they see a product, they say, I love it, let's get it, here's my credit card, and you can send it right off to them. So that timing difference, and then the quantity difference as well. Those are your big things. Now, big box stores, you could have 30,000 people walking past your product every week. That's huge. That's why you're going to be selling so much more. But it is quantity, time, and last one, the amount of time it takes to get paid. Now, I had one major big box category store when I launched a new product recently say, we know that's a new product, we'll just pay for it up front. They were great, but that's very, very, very much an aberration. Retailers, independent retail, special stores, they'll pay right away.
All right. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I cut out for about 10, 15 seconds. I don't know if the podcast actually stopped. And Steve, you were just talking to yourself, but
that happens all the time.
It was just you.
It was just
everything
me?
else was, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm interested. Amazon has become tougher and tougher, but it's got the captivated audience. It's the largest search engine out there for products. You've got all these independents out there, but you have to go and find them, right? You have to go and get a list, or you got to market to them. But it's easier. It's a lot easier than selling on Amazon. Is that correct? Would you agree with me?
It is so much easier than selling on Amazon. If you meet the criteria, you can't sell it in a poly bag. You have to have it in a package and so on. Finding them, you can find them literally, in your own town. Just what are the stores you're going to and so on. But once you get past that, yes, as we talked about lists and who's active, there's a great way, and that's frankly independent field reps. Independent field reps take your product and they sell it to stores that they already have relationships with. You have an independent field rep that's, maybe Southern Florida, or maybe even tighter. It might just be Miami. They have a bunch of stores that they go to, and they visit those stores every 30 days. And they're friends with them. They say, hey, Joe, how's your kid doing? I understand they just, they started college, last week. We were talking about that. They have that relationship. They'll walk into the store and say, oh, this is great. But, if you actually put this face forward on the shelf, other people are selling more like that. You may want to try it. And you could be halfway around the world and you still have your sales reps out there presenting your product. So that's entirely another way of selling to independents and so on.
Right. Just working with distributors or wholesalers, you're right. They do have that relationship. We've worked with a bunch of them when we were strictly into manufacturing, and they sold a product. My brother and I were doing some sales, but for the most part, why are you trying to hit 1,000 stores when these guys have a relationship with them already? So that's a really great point. And that was leading kind of into my next question, which, man, you're a mind reader. I was going to say how to approach. So let's forget about the wholesaler for a second. How would you go about approaching an independent?
So before I go there, I'm going to quickly point out, I mentioned sales reps. We've mentioned the shows. Yep. There are online vehicles as well. You had Tony Ivy on. She builds an extension to your website that is an online store for you, just for retailers. It's gated and so on. Then there's places like Farrar that sell you on a product by product basis to retailers. There's a new one that's being launched in August called Juniper. And we're trying to get some advanced and behind the scenes information on that for the program that I'm doing. But Juniper is going to be out there. That replaces Shop Zio. And then brand wise, which is a tool that most independent sales reps use for placing their orders. They were going to come out with an online site, and COVID put a pause to that. So that's coming out. So all of these are opportunities, and you want to be in front of your retailers everywhere that they're looking. You want to make it easy for them, the same way that you want to be every place that your customer is looking to buy. So after saying all of that, I completely forgot your question.
Me too. So
A gift of the age,
No,
a
no.
gift of age there.
No, it's about approaching the independent, and then the next question is going to be finding and approaching a wholesaler.
So every single conversation I've had with an independent specialty store owner or manager and big box buyer, and between the shows and just having them contact me directly, I have spoken to thousands of owners and managers of independent and specialty retail stores. Every single one of them either started the conversation, or somehow in the first third of the conversation, they'll say, "What do you have for me that I haven't seen before?"
Mhm.
Those are the magic words. Now, you could have something that's new and unique that they haven't seen. Maybe you have anti-gravity sneakers that let you float in the air. Or maybe you simply have a new design. We mentioned pets earlier. Maybe you had a bunch of designs for people who own dogs. Now you have designs or products for people who own horses. Maybe you brought out a new color this year. They want to see, what is it that they haven't seen before. That's the conversation. And once you start there, all you're trying to do is get their interest. Once you start there, they are interested. Now you can talk about how other stores have found success with your product. The key, and if you notice what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about why your product, you're not doing a sales to a customer. You're not talking about why your product is going to make their teeth whiter, or their shirts, brighter, or whatever. You're talking about why the retailer wants to sell it, and they want to sell it because customers are looking for it. It's being mentioned in blogs all the time because, and this is fabulous for Amazon sellers, because we're selling on Amazon and we've got 4.6 stars across 200 reviews. That's what the retailers want to hear. They want to hear why they should be selling your product, not why they should be buying it as a customer. And if you do that, you're more than halfway to the sale.
Okay, so if I do exactly like you said, and you set it up that way, the wholesalers have a relationship, but if you're doing this independently to the independents, how do you get past the gatekeeper? How do you get past email, voicemail, and everything else that they don't return your call? Like you can try, and it is frustrating, and all you're doing is getting voicemail for the first 99 out of 100 calls. How do you keep going, or how do you get around it? Do you send samples?
No, I don't. Not for independents and specialties. I don't send samples. Never have. I want it's gosh, when I was years and years and years ago, I used to be a fashion photographer, and I worked with a couple of pretty famous ones. And one used to only go out with the top models and actresses and people who were celebrities.
Kelsey.
Consistently. Kelsey.
Yeah.
And this is back in New York, and he was on Page 6, which is, something is where they do these paparazzi things. And he used to have a saying. He would only ask out women that he knew would say yes. And I guess that really simplifies things. But talk to retailers that say yes. You don't have to be this sleaze who is going out with models and celebrities. The philosophy is what's important. That philosophy is talk to retailers that are interested. If you are selling, this was a great one. I had a conversation with, and I forget his name, but he's the owner of, or he runs this TV show called The Prophet. And he does, someone's going to remind me his name and his company, but basically it's for people who do camping. I think it's Camping World or something like that. And had a meeting arranged with him, and I had home goods, housewares that were not appropriate for camping at all. But we had a chance to meet, and it was great fun. And I got to talk to him because he's a TV well-known person. But right away, this sale was not going to happen because my product was not right for him. And it's the same thing. Understand who buys your products. Approach those stores that want your products. If you're getting voicemails, keep calling back. Lead with the benefits to them, not to the customers. Don't call them up saying, example, camping. Don't call them up and saying, I've got new tent pegs that glow in the dark and repel mosquitoes, and blah, blah, blah. They're going to say, great. I'm hearing great things about everyone who's calling up. But if you call up or send an email and you say, I've got these new tent pegs and they are increasing sales at other stores just like yours without cannibalizing anything else off the shelves, now they're interested because you're talking about what are the benefits for them. If they don't respond, they get hundreds of emails, phone calls every day. Just keep going back. I had a phone call. I got into APHIS, which is now called Exchange, 2,700 stores. And email, phone call, nothing. Phone call one day. I was preparing for a presentation to investors. And we were just getting nervous and what to do. And my partner said, well, just call Susan again. She picked up her phone. She answered. And in a very fast call, we agreed that she would be interested. Now, for big box stores, I do send out samples, and I did send out a sample in this case. But just out of the blue, she happened to pick up her phone at that time. So don't give up. But when you do get them, lead with what's the benefit for them as a retailer. It's a little bit of a subtle difference, but very, very powerful.
Very good. So let's hook back to packaging for a second. What are the differences between Amazon or e-tail compared to the retailers? You want to just touch on a couple of points?
When you're doing all sorts of e-commerce, when you're sending it to them, and if you are thinking about packaging, and you absolutely should, you're thinking about that unboxing experience. You want them to be happy. You want them, from the moment they experience your product, to say, wow, this is good. Think about opening up, an Apple phone in their rigid box. It is wonderful. But, and Apple's different because they get to literally be merchandised through their stores. People are already aware of it. The typical retail experience on a retail shelf, you're not looking for that unboxing experience. You're looking to, number one, get the attention of the person who's walking down that aisle. They used to say you had 1/6 of a second, but now you have even less because they're looking at their phone. They may be talking with their friends. Certainly after COVID, shopping is more of a social interaction as well. So you have to get their attention. That's number one. Number two, they have to understand what the product is. So if you have a product and you come up with this really cool made up name like, Zazam Flash or something like that, people see it, they have no idea what it is. They're going to walk by. So you need to tell them what that product is. Great example, automobiles, cars. We know what they are. But when they launched, they were not called automobiles and cars. They were called a horseless carriage. People could see it, immediately understand what it is. So get their attention. Tell them what it is. And number three, what is the benefit? Why do they want this product? Grows hair fast. We'd stop at that and take a look at it immediately.
Absolutely.
How does it change your life? How does it make your life better? And then what are the uniques? Why is this one better than others? And a great example of this is something called Airborne. I was at Walgreens headquarters and they were talking about packaging and they used this as an example. Airborne is a homeopathic. It's not FDA. It's not specific ingredients that make you healthier and keep away colds. It's homeopathic. It's natural ingredients and so on. They did not expect it to do well, but the folks who did Airborne went to the stores. They looked at the shelves. Everything was the same. These very antiseptic clean looking packaging, oftentimes like a big cross on it, everything making it feel like it's medicinal and effective. And they came out with this bright yellowish, almost a pukish yellowish package, primitive looking drawing on it of this fellow. And it immediately got people's attention. That sold incredibly high. And the reason that it sold so much was they actually watched people come up to the shelves. It was the first and only one that got their attention. They grabbed that package, they looked at it, they said, oh, it does all these wonderful things. It keeps me healthy, it prevents colds and flus. I need this. And that's why they bought it. And real fast, by the way, when people do look at the package and everything, unless it's power tools, home appliances, and a few other categories, they're never turning it over and say, is it made in China? They're looking at the price, they're looking at the benefits. So don't let made in China scare you away. They want something that's going to help them, tell them what it is. They want a product that they can understand, explain the product simply, and you want to stop them when they're walking. So make sure it has shelf impact.
All right, very good. So I think we're going to wind this up now and just go over to the questions. Kelsey, are there any questions?
Yes, we have a few questions.
All
We
right.
are running into some issues just with streaming. So if you are watching from Norm's personal Facebook account, we can't bring up your questions, but I am taking a look at them and I can see them. So we're going to be using some of them. So some of these questions I can't bring up on the screen. But I also want to say that Tiffany Hepburn and McLean Warren and Anthony Cofrancesco have all said hello to you guys. You guys can't see in the comments, but they wanted to say hi to you.
And right back at them.
All right.
Absolutely.
So our first question, let's see, from Andrew S. Norm helped with this, but can we ask where to get finance for large retail orders and what are the usual terms? Thanks.
Good question. Financing large retail orders, and frankly, I go into this a lot in my program because that's where people are looking at. We spent weeks looking at different types of financing. The number one and most common way of financing is the fact that purchase order becomes a financial instrument. So when you have a purchase order from a viable company like Walmart, Target, Costco, you frankly can walk into your bank with that. And there are a lot of private lenders that'll turn around and loan you money on that. Then there are also institutions that will loan you money up front for inventory. I do work with one of the sharks for Shark Tank, and he has someone that he recommends. I'm not going to throw her name out here, but if you're doing over 2 million a year, absolutely contact me and I can put you in touch with them and so on. By the way, 2 million a year is not that far-fetched. We were talking earlier about an example of someone within a month is at 40,000. That's 500,000 a year, 480,000 a year. And if she grew that much in 1 month, $1 million, 2 million is not that far away. So absolutely there are options for that. Then there are new things out there like Kick Further. I think they're also looking at $1 million or 2 million, but Kick Further is a new type of financing. Then there's transactional financing like Lighter Capital. They focus primarily on high tech, but their model, transactional financing, revenue-based financing is very, very strong. In that case, it's like a loan, but you don't pay back the same amount every month, like on your home or your car. You actually pay back based on the amount of your revenue. I mentioned transactional financing. That's places like Cabbage and so on that loan you money based on what you're actually putting through the credit card processing. There's Friends, Family, and Fools, and which is a great way of bringing in investors. Then there is, of course, bringing in investors, and you start off with your pre-seed round and your seed round and so on. Lastly, if you do get large enough, there's actually some VCs that focus on physical products. Circle Up in California is a big one, and locally here in Seattle, Mavron's a big one. That's put together by Howard Schultz, the guy who launched Starbucks. So there is a broad range of financing. Nobody expects you to have $1.5 million in your back pocket.
All right, very good. Next question, Kels.
Okay, the next question is from Andrew C. So give me a second to bring it up. Okay, Steven, I sell generic electronic that I bought from my supplier. I want to customize the electronics, but they say it can't be done when I know it can. Where do I go to find a product designer?
Good question. So, lots of times, if you have a supplier saying it cannot be done, it may not be able to be done by them.
Right.
And that's key because you may be dealing with a trading company that's pretending to be a factory. I know someone who sells electronic stuff who has an apartment in Shenzhen, and he literally goes down, and forgive me because I can never say the name of the place, but there is a gigantic electronics market in Shenzhen. And if you go in there, you'll recognize it. It's got a big atrium with escalators going up. And he literally goes and buys whatever it is someone's purchasing. And he is listed on Alibaba with every verification there is, 15, 20 years of doing this. So if they're saying they can't do it, there's a good chance that they cannot do it, but someone else can. So first of all, look for other suppliers, factories that can. Second, if it's going to be something with a PCB and you have to provide a gurney file, be prepared with that, because if you're actually being able to provide what it is that they're looking for, they'll take you more seriously. If it's simply the housing that's different, maybe you have a Bluetooth speaker that looks like a grizzly bear, and you want to have it look like, a Great Pyrenees dog. It's a different shape. Now you're talking about the fact that you're just going to have a different mold, a different housing made, which means plastics and molds. Again, most factories can do that, but a trading company may not. So when they're saying it can't be done, keep looking. It can be done. China does 30% of the world's goods. There is someone there who can do it for you.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, great. From Rosalind, aka Jessica Rabbit. Steve, for a new seller without any Amazon reviews yet or other stores carrying my product, how would you introduce yourself to the store owner?
Great question. You introduce your store owner based on that product. Why is that product going to be of interest to their customers? Literally, you can just walk into a store near you, have that conversation. Whether they say yes or no, it's a win for you. Because if they say yes, you're now on their store shelves. If they say no, now you know the questions they're asking and why they're saying no. The next one you walk into, that's what you lead with. So it's literally just walking in. They're interested in independent specialty retail stores. They are very interested in your product. If they're starting to say who else sells it, more times than not, they're actually wondering if the store down the street has the same product, because as Norm said at the very beginning with his soaps, people they're going into these boutique stores and so on because they're looking for something different. So they might be concerned that it's being sold by the store next door or so on. They're not as concerned about the fact that it doesn't have traction. So it's a great way of building up your traction. And at the same time, of course, launch on Amazon. Just make sure that one price doesn't sabotage your other price. If you're selling it in the store and the store is going to sell it retail for $30, make sure that when it's on Amazon, it's being sold for $30. What store owners hate is when someone walks into their store, sees it, looks it up on Amazon, says, "Oh, it's $18 on Amazon. I'm going to buy it there." They don't like that window shopping.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kels.
Okay, next one. I'm only able to read it out. So from Nicholas S. Stephen, are there trade shows and whatnot where you can meet the retailers of the world? Does it make sense as a Westerner to go to the Canton Fair as an exhibitor in the hope you'll meet Walmart representatives?
Wow, that question's got a couple of different layers. First of all, the easiest way of meeting a Walmart representative, actually Walmart buyers, is to reach out to Walmart. And if it's something that's made in the US, which is what I'm guessing you're talking about, because if it's made in China, you may not have success selling at the Canton Fair when your actual supplier is 2 aisles over. So if it's made in the US, once a year, every spring, Walmart actually has an open call for products made in the US. getting into those big box stores, take a look at RangeMe. RangeMe is a great place for big box stores to be looking for suppliers, for vendors. And if you get on RangeMe, get yourself certified. That sets you apart from all the other folks. The first part of that question was, where do you get in front of retailers the globe over? If there were not travel restrictions, you would find that these marts that I'm talking about in Atlanta and Las Vegas draw clients from all vendors from all, retailers from all over the world. These are so big that they do bring them in from all over the world. And again, going back to the specifics of certain trade shows like Global Sources, Toy Show, and Super Zoo, International Home and Houseware Show, all of those do attract globally. We just have to have, travel restrictions gone, and you'll start seeing that happening again.
Kels?
Okay, next one is from Tony. He's asking, Steve, is your book also on Audible?
Oh, it is in the process of being audibleized, if that's the word. But and it is actually, we should get Norm to do audibles because of your voice. But the folks who do this have incredible voices. They do their own production as well, but it does take a while. So I don't think we're on Audible yet, but we will
Tony
be. Right
said
now,
you were earlier on. He said you were on Audible.
Oh, no. He's asking. Tony is the one asking.
Oh,
if you're
okay.
on Audible.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's being audibleized, but it's not live on Audible yet.
Okay.
Okay. And
from
Howard.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. From Howard, how should you think about slotting as a requirement to get your product placed in a retailer?
So there are all sorts of fees, often referred to as slotting fees and so on, but these are for big box retailers, not for independents and specialty stores and so on. Big box retailers have a lot of program costs. A lot of program costs, and they're under a lot of different names. You're going to pay a certain amount for what happens to goods that are returned and so on, certain amounts for promotions. But for independent and specialty retailers, it's, as I say, it's very simple. They pay for the product, they pay for shipping. If you're feeling generous, you can give them the shipping, and it goes on their shelves. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. There are no slotting fees for independents and specialties.
All right. Oh man, we have a celebrity here, Bugs Bunny. Okay, what is
Bugs Bunny is here. You mentioned RangeMe. Are the retailers responding well to this?
Large retailers, big box stores are really focused on RangeMe, and I've got. I was trying to get into. I think they called it Find Me or something like that, but QVC had a recent contest trying to put more people on QVC. I didn't get approved for that, but one of my students, one of my clients who is a Shark Tank winner, did get approved. So just going on RangeMe and clicking the button that for QVC's program, they immediately got approved, and now they're in that state. RangeMe works really, really well with big box retailers. For independents and small retailers, it's just one of multiple ways that they're looking, and frankly, it's not as strong for independents and small retailers, specialty retailers, boutiques, as it is for big box stores.
Okay, great. Jacob Topping also mentioned the New York Toy Show is awesome. First time I went, it blew me away. So thanks, Jacob, for the comment.
Hello, Jacob.
We just have a couple more. Stephen, is your book going from page 4 to page 26?
My book's 546 pages long, so it's got to be a lot longer than that. If it only downloaded from 4 to 26, hit the Kindle and re-download it, and it should all come down.
Yeah. Okay, great. And we did have some questions about product differentiation and product developments. I'm not sure if we want to tackle those, but
we could talk about that briefly.
Okay, so from Mohammed, what's the first thing you look in the product for the product development and differentiation?
So this is interesting. A lot of people know from whatever courses they took to look at the reviews on Amazon, see what's not working with a product. That's a great place to start. The challenge there, of course, is that everyone else who took the same course or watched the same video are looking the same places. So I know Anthony, I think, was watching, and I get to shout out to him because this was the seller tip that I gave at the beginning of Prosper, and that is PickFu is a great way of figuring out differentiation. You can rack your brain and think of all the ways that you could change a product, but I love this tip. Do a PickFu poll. Take an image of your competitor's product, put it out on PickFu. Don't have to say who the competitors or anything else. Just say, we're thinking of coming out with a new version of our product. What do you think we should do? That's it. And people will start responding back to you with all sorts of suggestions of what will make that product better. And now you've got two things. One, you've got groupthink. You've got so many people who are giving you ideas that you may not have thought of at first. And second, you actually get to rank them. So if you're doing 100 folks and you find that 22 are all recommending that, the top should be taller so it's easier to drink from or something like that. Now a differentiation that your competitors don't. And that's the most popular differentiation. And if you could take two of these and put it together, you've differentiated your product in a way that others aren't, and that customers are looking for. So it's so simple and it's so powerful.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's more product development questions from Mohammed, but how are you for time, Stephen?
I've got plenty of time. I love talking about it. It's up to you guys.
I think maybe what we'll do is we'll come back to this in another podcast. We're running about an hour and 15 right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. So why don't we do
typical
that?
for me. I never shut up.
Yeah. A matter of fact, maybe what we'll do is we'll get you and Afalabi onto a clubhouse next week if you're available Thursday at 1:00.
Thursday, 1:00 your time, which is earlier in the morning for you. Absolutely. And I love Afalabi. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll throw out a clubhouse talking about product innovation, product development. So I'll send you an invitation for that. So next Thursday at 1:00.
There you go.
Tune in at Clubhouse. Okay, so let's head over to the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, let's do it. So we have two giveaways today. So let me just pull up the song.
And a free book.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
For the free book, I've already added the links in the comment sections.
Okay.
Wheel is for the Centurion giveaway. So if you are the winner of the giveaways, please email me k@lunchwiththenorm.com and I'll connect you with the codes and connect you with Stephen. So I'm just going to shuffle up these names here, and here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Music.
Yeah.
Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, Mark. There you go. And so that's for the Centurion League.
For the Centurion League, yep.
Okay.
And next one is for Stephen's consultation. Let me just pull it up. There we go. All right, here we go. Shuffling again. 3, 2, 1.
Dun, dun,
Okay.
dun,
Here we go. Muhammad. There we go.
Excellent.
I think that's a first-time winner, so perfect.
I think so too.
All right.
Okay, so Mohammed, if you since you are a first-time winner, just email Kelsey at k@lunchwithnorm.com and he'll make sure you get all set up. All right, Stephen.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for
All right.
coming on. How do people get a
Thank
hold
you.
of you?
Well, they can find me at Product Development Academy. And while you're there, everything we talked about today about getting into retailers, I am going to have an event next month in Las Vegas. It's on the 20th to the 23rd. We're going to do 2 days of stand-up training, everything that you've heard here and a ton more. And I've been lucky. I learned from some of the best in the business. Bill Curley, who ran one of the most successful showrooms in Atlanta for years, he connected me with Mike Kittredge, who started a small company through independent retailers and so on, from candles that he made in college that eventually grew into Yankee Candle, billion-dollar business when it was sold. So I've been very, very lucky to learn. We're going to do 2 days of that, and then we'll be doing a day at the Vegas market. We'll be going around looking as an exhibitor would. Why is one manufacturer selling $30,000 in sales and the other's making $130,000 of sales? How do you make yourself be that successful one when you eventually exhibit there? And then the next day, we're going to do the same thing at ASD. And for people who've gone to ASD as an Amazon seller thinking, I'm going to buy stuff, we're going to give you a completely different viewpoint. We're going to be looking at it as a manufacturer who's going to sell stuff, and how are you successful there? So that's going to be 4 days total, 20th to 23rd in August in Las Vegas. Come check that out. And then just in general, there's the Facebook group up on the screen. Come join us. It is such a natural expansion and growth. If you can do Amazon, you can do retailers, especially independent retailers, and it gives you more revenue streams. So that's what I want to see people doing.
All right, Stephen. So thank you again for joining us, and it was a great episode. Hopefully we can see you back soon.
After we'll be talking on Thursday.
On Thursday. Okay. See you later.
See you.
And have
Bye-bye.
a great weekend. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Kelsey, who is coming in on Monday?
On Monday, we have Pip Harland.
Oh,
She'll
very
be our
good.
guest. Yeah,
Pip's
so she's
coming
always
back.
a blast. Yeah,
All right.
I think she's talking
Great.
about cash flow, and yeah, it's going to be a good show.
Okay, anything else to add?
All right, so thank you for watching, everyone. Yeah, there is a Facebook bug happening with our streaming program, so we can't actually stream directly into the group. So that's why if you were commenting and you usually see your names pop up, that's why some of you weren't being added.
Oh, Kelsey, what did you do? What
streaming
did you do to Facebook?
Yeah, I know.
You broke Facebook.
Sorry, Facebook. Yeah, but yeah, if you are interested in joining our community, the Beard Nation, as we like to call it, join it at Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective. Also, head over to our YouTube channel for the full episodes, short highlights, and that is just Norm and Farrar, but if you search Lunch with Norm, that should happen too. I think we just got up 1,100 subscribers too, so we're up another 100, so that's awesome. Glad you guys are enjoying the content that we're putting out. And also, let me see, our Patreon is up and going. So if you're interested in free services and discounts, small group sessions with Q&As with me and Norm, guest
Buying
lessons,
Kelsey a coffee,
or even just buying me a cup of coffee once a month, there's options for everyone. And that's just if you go over to our Lunch with Norm website, there's a paid membership button that you can click and it'll take you and show you all the information you need there. But other than that, I think that's it.
Perfect. So last thing, I just wanted to thank our sponsor for this episode, .club domains. I talk about them all the time. I love the .club extension because it builds a community. So if you're thinking on going on to Clubhouse, what's better than a .club? If you're building an e-com site, I love them. I have a ton of .club domains, so just check them out. You can get them at GoDaddy or Namecheap or wherever you want to go to grab them. And they're very inexpensive. At least the last time I checked, they're like $1 or so for the first year. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I'm just looking down to see if I missed anything. No, I did not. So join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And looking at everybody, there's a bunch of new people on here as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being part of this community. And just love it. The growth. I mean, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Entrepreneur.